Let me turn that off because I'm going on. Hi. Oh,
Hi. Just I need to arrange this light. Sorry. Okay. I'll try another one.
Hi, Cigdem. How are you?
Hello. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Thank you.
Cigdem, just so you know, my husband put together the survey. So as soon as we're done, we will mail it through MailChimp. So, and we have set it for 2 days, if that's okay. Sorry?
I think there's connection problem.
Yes. Say that again, Cigdem.
Of course, it's fine. I mean, the idea is just to get some feedback.
Absolutely. That was great. I wasn't able to find it on the Zoom because you have to pay extra money to do it. It's very strange. So we just did it differently. I'm sorry.
There are different versions of Zoom with different prices. In webinar option, you may do it. But in the other ordinary version, still you pay, but you cannot do it.
Right. And so we chose the cheapest version.
Yeah, I guess.
So how are you doing? Good? Everyone, you're doing well?
Yeah.
Cigdem, how's your family? How are you doing?
We are good. I think we have a minor issue about the virus, but everybody's fine for the time being.
Okay. Yeah, it's are you, and by the way, are you still in lockdown in Istanbul or no?
We will be locked
Yes
in
and no.
starting from this weekend again.
Wow, again.
But I mean, okay, we weren't locked down for a long time. I mean, we may go out during the weekdays, but we used to be locked down during weekends. Then we started to have the Saturdays to go out, just 2 or 3 weeks. And then again, starting from this week, we will be locked down Saturdays and Sundays.
I think for us, it's we're gray. We go through colors and now we are at gray. Before it was lockdown, now it's gray. And now we're going back to lockdown again.
Yeah. No, it makes life really complicated. I mean, it's changing all the time. Everything is, changing, chaotic.
Exactly. Cigdem and Selena, I have a question because I see that we have 3 people waiting in the waiting room. Which one should I, there's Sibel?
Şebnem and Cigdem. Cigdem with
Is that
C.
Sibel Gulen?
No, she's from MÜKAD, but we don't need to take her. Just Şebnem.
Oh, I don't see her yet. I don't see
and
her.
How many people
Cigdem.
got registered?
I will tell you this right now. 1 second. I have the numbers. 1 second. I will tell you. Oh, and Carla Parslow says, just so you know, ladies, Carla Parslow is available. She just confirmed this week, which is really nice. Info. All right, bear with me here, ladies. I'm just trying to get us the information. Eventbrite.
I wrote
We
down the
stick
names
to
for you.
the itinerary, right?
Oh yeah, so what I'll do is, if it's okay with you both, it's like we said, I'll just introduce WiRE. Cigdem will introduce MÜKAD, I will then we said that we will introduce Celine to read the bio, right? For the
Sinem will read the bio.
Oh, Sinem, that's right. Sorry, that's Sinem. Okay, perfect. And then Sinem, I will give it back to you. After that, we'll have the keynote, and then we will think, or no, we will do the Q&A, of course, and then we are doing the breakout rooms, and I know how to. With the breakout rooms, no problem. I know how to do this. It's very, very simple. So I think we're still sticking to the same agenda that we had, right?
Good.
Yep.
We actually have, wow, we have 39 people joining us.
Good.
Okay, good. Maybe some more may come as well. Let's see. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if Cigdem, I see her. And Esma as well, right?
She may wait, but she may also come. No problem.
Okay.
Everybody
Hi, how are you?
I think she has just connected to audio. Right?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, and you?
Good. It's nice to see everyone.
Good to see you.
Hello. We were just going over, Sinem and Celine and I were just going, hi. We're just going over the agenda for today. So Cigdem, you will do similar. I will do the opening. Welcome MÜKAD, welcome WiRE, welcome the audience. Then I will give it to you.
And I will just give a brief information for MÜKAD.
Yes.
Okay. So I have some news for MÜKAD, maybe. We were just, yeah, okay, I will just tell them again. And then I will come to the topic and my term is finished, I think.
Actually, I have some very exciting news as well from Canada. I was appointed to Minister Jonathan Wilkinson's Advisory Council, which is for environmental and climate change, which is very fantastic for WiRE.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's great. I think it's really wonderful. And previously, Celine, as you know, Ambassador Kuder, which we worked with WiRE Turkey, he really pushed a letter of recommendations.
Great.
So it was thanks to, again, Turkey always plays a very big role. So one of the things that Minister Wilkinson actually was asking me about was what we are doing in Turkey and Azerbaijan and Georgia. So, and I know that Sinem and Celine, we will be working a little bit more on the Georgia and Azerbaijan as well soon.
Great. By the way, Cigdem is also here. Hi.
Hoş geldiniz Cigdem Hanım.
Hoş geldiniz.
Hi.
Good, how are you?
Fine, thank you. I have to adjust my camera because I do not, it will take me 2 or 3 minutes, okay?
Okay, no problem. Since here it's the evening, everything changed now. We need to adjust the light. Normally we don't need to. It was same for me to adjust the light.
Today is, well, for me, it's only 2 p.m., but today has been very, very dark in Toronto, gloomy, sad. It looks like it's like 7 p.m. outside. So just so I know we only have 3 more minutes, but I just want to make sure that for the agenda, so I will start. Cigdem, I will pass it on to you. And Cigdem, after your presentation of MÜKAD, we will pass it to Sinem because she will be introducing Cigdem. So that's going to be quite important. After that, after your presentation, Cigdem, we will open Q&As and Celine will moderate those.
Yes, and
And
also during the presentation, there will be 4 questions plus presentation at the same time, just to provide some information.
So what I understand,
I
Then we'll
think I
start the
do not have a
presentation.
presentation. I will answer the questions, right?
Okay, no problem, because Ayşe Hanım called me and we talk, and I thought that there will be also a presentation for the questions, but it's not a problem. It was initially planned as questions and answers.
Okay. Because this
Can I
is
have
what
the question?
they told me.
Mhm.
Can I have a question? May I have a question? Okay. Can I have some words for the climate change for the photovoltaics?
Climate
Can I
change.
talk about climate change, because we are just talking photovoltaics, and can I just have a introducing why we are just talking photovoltaics, because of climate change is a very big problem, very big issue for the world. Can I say just kind of things, or may I have to just pass them?
Oh, you could say, I mean, PV is very environmentally friendly. So ecologically, it is
Yes.
the right instrument to produce
Yeah.
electricity.
Yeah, that's why I have this introduction, that we have a problem of, we have an issue of climate change, and that's why we have to work on renewable technologies such as photovoltaics. And can I just say such kind of sentences in my speech?
Yeah,
It's okay?
Yeah, it's okay. It's I mean, of course, it's highly related.
Okay. I won't exceed 5 minutes, okay? I will take care of it.
So what we'll do as well, because at 1:45 or 10:02, we will do breakout sessions as well.
Yeah.
So we will, and I will manage that, and I think this will be very favorable. So, and Selen and Sinem and Sebnem, I think that maybe on behalf of WiRE and MÜKAD, you can say thank you. So at the end, I won't speak. So Sinem and Selen and Sebnem, please, make the closing remarks if that's okay.
Okay.
Sorry, just for Şebnem Hanım. You will talk about the climate change during your presentation on MÜKAD, or
After the yeah, I have a very small presentation for MÜKAD. I'm not planning to do the same presentation as I did before. It is too long, I think. I will make it a summary for MÜKAD, and then I just talk about the climate change and why we have to work with these kind of technologies, renewable energy technologies. Then give the word to you.
Okay, all right.
Is it okay? Or I may just pass
I
it.
think, yeah, it's okay. Just I mean, keep
It's
it.
not an
I
issue.
think
I
there
just wanted to understand when you would like to address it during
During my
after
presentation.
MÜKAD? Okay, fine.
Yeah,
All right.
during my presentation.
So that I will know
I
when to start.
I think we may start to be
Okay.
on time.
So I'm gonna count down to 5. And in 5 seconds, we will start introduction. So I'm going to press admit to our participants.
Okay.
Hello, hello, and welcome to this WiRE Turkey event. It's so nice to see all of you. For me here in Toronto, it's still daytime. I know that in Turkey it is, in Istanbul it's later on. For people joining us not only from Canada, from Turkey as well, and other countries, welcome to this second edition of WiRE Turkey networking event. We're absolutely thrilled to be here. My name is Joanna Osawe. I'm the president and CEO of WiRE, Women in Renewable Energy. I will give you a brief description regarding what WiRE is. So please know that I will share my screen right now. So give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with all of you right now and just again, welcome everyone to today's networking event. We're extremely excited to have all of you here. WiRE's role is, and WiRE's mission is very simple. It's to advance the role and recognition of women in the energy sector. And this is very, very true because we definitely need to make sure that we're consistently having people and champion us to continue to move this very important, sorry, friends. Okay, so I'm trying to admit also people to our networking event. Just a few agenda and housekeeping rules. So again, I'm going to go through the intro and the WiRE welcome as well as MÜKAD's remarks. We will, of course, welcome our guest speaker, and we cannot wait to hear her phenomenal presentation. When you do have any questions at the end of our keynote speaker, please write it in the chat, as you can see. And after that, after the Q&A, we will have a breakout session where we will actually network with all of you. So again, we have a very exciting agenda for you to follow. So again, thank you for joining us. So again, I've already stated what our purpose is. It's to advance the role and recognition of women in the energy sector. A little bit about WiRE. I started WiRE back in 2012 and then launched it in 2013. We are in every single Canadian province as well as the territories. We have started with WiRE Turkey, Jordan, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and UAE. And we're now actually looking to format to begin with WiRE Morocco. We are working with the G7 member states. So currently we are engaged with France and Italy. So more upcoming international chapters to be open. Our programming includes networking meetups such as these. Of course, typically without COVID, we would be doing this face-to-face. However, through the webinar setting, we are able to bring the world a little bit closer. So I think that's fantastic. We do capacity building field trips because, again, you know, most people don't understand what it means to flip the switch on. They don't think about the reliability, the performance, the safety on the grid. People don't understand the difference between a transmission line or a distribution line. We've actually started doing workshops on energy literacy and financing. Again, we are working with Caroline Cizon, who was previously the Chief Financial Officer at TransAlta. And TransAlta is a local distribution company here in Alberta. We provide speed mentoring programs at conferences where we engage decision makers and academics or emerging professionals to come and take part in this great program. We also do speed interviewing, and speed interviewing is really, it's a paid program that we work with major companies to bring talents or talent pools to job perspectives. We have worked with Siemens in the past, SNC, Schneider, and that actually reduces a lot of hours for human resources through the interview process. Through speed mentoring and speed interviewing, we've been successfully engaging with more than 400 plus WiRE participants that have now been employed at different companies. We offer student bursary programs at industry conferences because, again, you know, when I was a student, I know that I didn't have $2,000 Canadians to attend a very expensive conference. So this provides students a platform to come and educate themselves about the industry, about the different folks that are in it, really introduce themselves and volunteer at the WiRE booth. We have started student chapters here in Ontario. We're working across Canada. The same chapters, student chapters, will be allocated, of course, in the different international WiRE. So hopefully, you know, in the next year, we will have student chapters in Istanbul. We provide scholarship and internships as well. And I'm very proud of the Women of Distinction Awards that we have. So we have Women of the Year Award, Women of Wind, Women of Solar, Women of Hydro, Women of Engineering, which is launching in 2021 with IEEE and as well as the Indigenous Women in Leadership. This is our third year in a row that we are working with the Clean Energy Ministerial. And as a matter of fact, Celine, who you will hear from, and also a WiRE chapter lead, was a judge on this awards committee. So again, we are working with the G20 member states, Natural Resources Canada, IEA, and WiRE. We also work with Indigenous communities. We provide also a monthly newsletter. So if you're not signed up, please sign up. We also feature women and men and all on blogs and profiles. So again, a lot of great different programs. So again, I've already touched whereabouts we are. So we're in every single province. We are continuing to expand in the MENA regions, of course, and working very, very heavily with all of you, because again, it's very important to advance the role and recognition of women in the energy sector. I've already been introduced. So again, this is my board of directors, Aisha Bukhari and Julia Cushing. And we have our fantastic leads, Selen İnal and Cigdem Besen. And we're very proud to have both these amazing, talented women and subject matter experts take part in WiRE Turkey. Without both of them, you know, WiRE Turkey would not be where we are today. So again, a huge applause and a welcome to Selen and Cigdem. Although we are international, I like to use the terminology global. So be global, but act local. So some of the programs that may be applicable here in Canada may not be applicable in other countries. Therefore, other programs are being developed. So again, we work very closely with our chapter leads and advisory committees with Selen and Cigdem to continue that very important programming. Equal by 30, which is one that they're pioneered, which is equal pay, equal opportunity, and equal leadership for women in the sector by 2030. This is actually a campaign that has started through the federal Canadian government. However, this is an international signatory. So if you haven't signed up, you know, we definitely encourage your companies or organizations to do so. We also are huge ambassadors of the Leadership Accord on Gender Diversity, Electricity, Human Resources Canada, which is a public commitment by employers, educators, unions, and government to promote the values of diversity and inclusion within their organization. Again, another great public commitment to be signed off on. We salute our WiRE government partners. Again, we thank all of our amazing sponsors, because as a nonprofit, we definitely need to continue to keep the lights on. We definitely have a huge list of industry partners, including, of course, MÜKAD. Our industry partners are in-kind partnerships where we actually come together to solidify the same messages and continue to move the needle forward. Again, a huge thank you to our international partners. Again, MÜKAD, it is such a pleasure to be here with all of you and to be hosting this joint event. So again, a huge thank you to all of you. Our next upcoming events, as we always have events, are coming up, I believe, next Thursday, April 8th, and also April 21st. If you'd like to join us, please sign up. We would love to have you. Where can you find us? You can find us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram, or you can simply email us at info@womeninrenewableenergy.ca. With that being said, thank you so much. Welcome to all of you. I will pass this on to Ms. Cigdem from MÜKAD. So thanks again.
Okay. Hello. Thank you. Good afternoon and good evening to everyone. Welcome to MÜKAD WiRE second event. We are very happy to be with you and hosting Ms. Cigdem Besen. And welcome, Cigdem Hanım, and many thanks for accepting our invitation. I would like to give a brief information for MÜKAD for the guests who meet us for the first time. We are the Association of Women Engineers and Architects. We are a non-profit organization, and MÜKAD was established in February 2018. And our head office is in Ankara, in the capital city of Turkey. We have about 100 members, and all our members are engineers from different disciplines and architects. We are encouraging women to choose the profession of engineering and architecture through various activities. And what we are targeting to balance the gender population in engineering professionalities where we are rare. And besides this, we are working for equal opportunities, equal pay, and equal leadership for women in all disciplines of engineering and architecture. And by the way, we have some good news to share with you. 2 days ago, MÜKAD became an official signature of Equal by 30 campaign. And we are very happy to be and we are happy and very proud to be an official signature of this campaign and take part in actions for benefits of women in renewable energy sector. We wanted to be a part of this campaign because we realized that we have many similar targets with the campaign, such as equal pay, equal leadership, and equal opportunities for women. The only difference is the campaign is targeting those things for women worldwide in renewable energy sector. We are, as an association in Turkey, targeting them in all engineering disciplines and architecture for women. And that's why, for the first moment that we have heard about this campaign, we wanted to be a part of it. And at that moment, many thanks to Joanna that she's the one who informs us about the campaign. And we will be sharing our completed activities for our commitments to Equal by 30 campaign in the future, of course. And let's come to today's event. As the world becomes more crowded and industrialized, we realize that we are giving damage to our ecosystem and we are consuming more goods and more fossil fuels because we need more energy for our industrialized way of lives. And now many scientists blame the current system as the cause of the climate change. And unfortunately, we are confronted with existential risks of many species living on the earth because of the climate change. And besides this, we are also experiencing mass migrations because of that reason. And that's why if we can take the right steps now, we will experience worse in the future. And we must all think of how we can build a future that our system survive friendly with the world's ecologic system. So what we know is electricity production from fossil fuel is the #1 source of greenhouse gases. So the most important action to reduce our impacts on environment is replacing the fossil fuel infrastructure with the renewable energy technologies. And on the other hand, another expectation is renewable technologies will have very positive economic consequences on the global and local economies and development. And of course, another key step to reduce the impact on climate change is energy efficiency. So, as MÜKAD, we are working on both of the issues in many aspects in MÜKAD Energy Commission. And today, for awareness and development, of course. And today, we will be talking about photovoltaics, which is a very popular renewable energy system. And we are very excited to listen to Ms. Cigdem Besen and learn her commercial and technical experiences on photovoltaics in Turkish market and globally. And thank you very much.
Herkese merhabalar. Welcome to our event. I would like to welcome our guest speaker for today, dear Cigdem Besen. Cigdem is holding nuclear engineering and political sciences degrees from MIT, along with masters in plasma physics from the same university. She has spent 20 years working with exporter garment factories in Turkey, mostly in underdeveloped areas. She promoted local self-sustainability, women's contribution to production, and wage elevation. As she's a physicist in heart and soul, she has redirected all company resources to engage in solar power in less developed areas of Turkey, actually, where she started. In parallel with her earlier efforts, she preferred to work with young college graduates from nearby universities to build a talent pool. She invested all her life savings to make her dream come true. From 2013 to 2015, she spent time getting seminars from all over the world about solar power and related technologies, machine manufacturers, research centers to train the GTC team. She targets a proactive business model where employees can take responsibility and share management over time. Cigdem's passion for R&D in the field of solar energy has led to establishment of Turkey's first private R&D center. Their target is to position GTC as a high-tech company and create a global brand from Turkey. In this regard, today Cigdem will talk about innovation-focused solar panel manufacturing and their contributions in the field. Once again, I would like to thank Cigdem for joining us and sharing her expertise, and wish you all a fruitful session. So Selen and Cigdem, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sinem. Cigdem Hanım, welcome. We are very pleased to have you as our keynote speaker today. Starting with, could you please tell us about yourself and your company?
Thank you very much, Selen Hanım. I also would like to pay tribute to WiRE and MÜKAD. I'm very happy to be here. As Sinem has described what I've done in quite very flattering terms, really my story is love of physics and a debt that I had to southeastern Turkey, where I made textile trading for 25 years and I made money. I finally could accumulate capital after 25 years. It took me 25 years to free myself of a business that I didn't like doing. And I wanted to move to a business that I would love. So I chose solar because solar energy is physics oriented. And I positioned GTC in 2013 from the very start to be a research focused institute. We were one of the initial double glass solar panel makers in the world. We actually hold the patent rights for bifacial double glass solar panels. We could only apply for Turkey at the time because of budget restraints. But we were really the very first company that was successful in serial production for monocrystalline solar double glass manufacturing, where the glass was thinner than 3 millimeters. When we started in 2013, really, we were the first ones in double glass solar panel making. Now, mostly in monocrystalline silicon solar, the glass size is under 3 millimeters. And in 2018, 5% of the total world solar panel manufacturing was double glass. ITR-PV reports predicts that by 2030, double glass solar panels will reach 30% of world output. The reason behind this is double glass solar panels are eco-friendly. They do not have the PVC part, which is the back sheet. As you know, PVC is a fossil fuel derivative. And really, it's a very pollutive process to manufacture PVC. So double glass panels are free of PVC. They are eco-friendly. But not only this, they are also very durable for climate problems when there is high humidity and different big gaps in temperature. Double glass panels are extremely durable. they also live much longer in conditions of salts, in conditions of nitrogen, when there is cement and coal. Double glass panels are much easier to use because most of the time they do not require frames. So our story at GTC, which, by the way, for those of you who do not know, we are totally in Eastern Turkey. So it's a less developed area, but we are a technological story out of that area. And we, in 2020, have also established a solar cell line in Turkey. And for that, we also did research for 3 years and developed our own cell making technology. So we are very excited for 2021. We cannot wait to have our solar panels with our solar cells. And a big advantage for double glass solar panels is that they are bifacial. You can produce electricity from the front and from the back of the panel. So you use the distributed sunlight at the back of the panel. This way, per square meter, our solar panels out of Eastern Turkey are one of the highest performance in electricity output.
Thank you very much. Based on your story, actually, we may say that you are one of the pioneers of the solar panel manufacturing. When we consider what you have done so far regarding the R&D works and also the, what you have done in the eastern part of Turkey, and also the bifacial panels and the cell as well. And you are also the only female company owner in PV panel manufacturing sector in Turkey. So could you please tell us about your achievements and also the difficulties you faced, and how did you compete and survive? Because we all know that it's difficult to be a woman in energy sector, which is highly male dominated. And even solar panel manufacturing is more male dominated when we consider the, let's say, the owners, the starters. So could you please share with us your experience?
I think today, anywhere in the world, women must work at least twice as hard as men to gain the same recognition and the same pay. Being a woman entrepreneur is a very tough call in this regard, especially if you are in a B2B business where the decision makers are mostly men. The road for women entrepreneurs is full of potholes and the ride gets bumpy. You may be doing an excellent product. You may be doing serious R&D. Your product may have passed stringent accredited tests, many more than any of the competitors. You may be marketing heavily, but when it comes to distributing your product and selling your product, it's a man's world. Men have locally and globally developed extensive networks to promote their own products. They use boys' clubs, male bravado, grassroots organizations, financial ties. The tools may vary from culture to culture, but the basics are the same. Men have developed an internal dialogue that is explicitly and exclusively for men, in between men. So a woman entrepreneur has a tough time to penetrate this dialogue. At almost any final purchase, there is always an extra call, an extra peer review, where somebody says so and so, and your product, despite all the evidence, is sidelined or eliminated. It can be frustrating because day in, day out, you are talking to deaf ears. So to prosper and to succeed, a woman entrepreneur needs to do an even more optimized product and develop more piercing marketing strategies. This takes extra effort and it takes extra time. Now, time is money. So finance becomes very crucial for women entrepreneurs. The problem is, because the woman entrepreneur invests more effort, more time, more money to be successful, she really needs to have access to cheaper credit lines. But there is no such credit lines. In my 35 years of business, 1% of my credit lines has been a special financing mechanism designed for women, which was, I think, 2% less interest than the regular credits. And actually, my bank dumped that credit on me because they had nowhere else, no other woman candidate to give it to, and they were running out of time to use the money that was given to them by EBRD. When people talk about finance for women today globally, you usually hear the talk of microfinancing. Now, I'm not contesting, I'm not saying microfinancing is not needed. No, of course, it's excellent and it has to be done. Actually, my dear friend Julie, who's the founder of Kiwi, has done an excellent job in global microfinancing for women. But what I'm saying is that you also need cheap credit finance lines for women entrepreneurs in mid-sized companies and in big-sized companies. And those mechanisms are lacking, especially in second world or third world countries, where country finance premiums are high and where the number of women entrepreneurs is very low. Without such financing, it will be very, very hard to see more women entrepreneurs and to hear success stories associated with these women entrepreneurs.
Thank you. Actually, as you mentioned, yeah, men do a lot of different, let's say, works like networking or some things being more visible, and they have their own strategies in themselves and so on. And I agree that as women, somehow we were a bit late to realize that, maybe 10 or 15 years, let's say, even for the women when we think globally, and as well as in Turkey, and especially in energy sector, I think we are really late compared to other sectors. For example, like the women in finance and so on. But I believe that especially in the last 2 years, everybody started to realize, and when some people realize, then the things really grow. The networks started to become, more and more, and there will be more visibility works, in my opinion. So yeah, we are late, but now I may say that it's much better compared to, let's say, 5 years ago. I can absolutely observe this. So somehow this is something good to be happy. And we are developing networks not only within Turkey, but also internationally, because as you also mentioned, I mean, a woman really has to work a lot and has to have a lot of experience and knowledge to compete with an average man in the same sector. So once we decide to be visible and to build the networks, we really have a power because we have the knowledge and experience, which is good. So let's talk about future habits. Could you please tell us about your future plans, especially investments, new markets, and new R&D studies?
We passed through real tough times in Turkey last 3 years. First, there was the Turkish economy, and then COVID came. So it was a really bad time to be caught in the midst of an investment, because as GTC, we were investing in a new cell line. But I'm very happy to say that despite all of the hardships, we came out, we have survived, and we were able to finish our investment with success. So for the future, our main goal is to reach 100% production capacity in our new solar cell plant, and to roll out real GTC designed solar panels, including the solar cells. We have a plan, and we are working on new R&D for this, for a second solar cell line for 2022. Our first solar cell line is a P-type solar cell. It is bifacial. It is a bigger size wafer, 161 millimeter. And the backside is at 70% performance of the front. But for the new solar cell line, we are working on a heterojunction variant. So I think by 2022, we should be able to improve our solar cell efficiency upwards of 23%. For us, the solar cell designers and solar panel designers, we take pride in the electrical outputs we can get per square meter. In addition to the solar cell research, GTC also invests heavily in design of solar panel applications, because the way you install a solar panel may directly affect the efficiency you are getting out of the solar panel. This is especially true for bifacial panels. So this week, actually, we put out a very original design for floating PV, and GTC remains the world leader in industrial rooftops. We actually use bifacial panels on industrial rooftops and get at least 5 to 7% more electrical output per square meter of the rooftop. Bifacial panels globally are used mostly on land, but at GTC, we use them also successfully on rooftops. So we, I can say we are optimistic about the future.
Yeah, I think I also agree that this strategy of investing in heterojunction cells and as well as the bifacial panels will make you really competitive in the future, and this will happen prior to other companies in Turkey, I believe. And also, as you mentioned, you know, various applications is also important for marketing. So I really think that your company and your technology will have a brighter future, and good luck for that. And what do you think about the future of PV market in Turkey and globally?
Well, as I said before, in 2013, double glass bifacial solar panels was at 0%. In 2018, it was 5% of the world output. ITRPV is predicting it will be 30% of world output by 2030. I really think the market will move to double glass and bifacial. You can do bifacial with the standard panels using an EVA or a transparent backsheet. But the problem with back backsheets is you do not know how long the transparency will exist, because all the chemical sheets lose their transparency after a time. So the bifacial in those panels is only a transient phase. So globally, you will see the world moving to bifacial and double glass. And sooner or later, Turkey has to follow the global path. but you will also see higher efficiency cells and tandem cells, cells that are made by having more layers like perovskites, like germanium on the traditional silicon cell. You will see other techniques like the heterojunction, the IBC cell may become more common. But whatever the technology is, and the technology is changing fast, solar will prosper, because right now, solar energy is the safest and the cheapest way to produce electricity. Environmentally, it is much more eco-friendly than any of the other forms of electricity production. And it is really cheap when you calculate how long you can continue producing electricity, and sun does not come at a cost. So I think we will see both in Turkey and globally solar and wind becoming primary sources of electricity output.
Thank you. And now we have some questions from the audience. So I would like to start with the questions related to the environment, actually, and I will combine two questions. There is one question from Cigdem. She wrote, you said that double glass PV is environmental friendly. Is it competitive for price performance comparison? Actually, you have partially replied this, but maybe we can, again tell. And also, Mehtap Hanım asked the question, what about the junks of them when they are dismantled?
Double glass solar panels are about 10% more expensive than standard panel. Now in Turkey, everybody looks at the initial investment. However, the correct way of analysis is LCOE, which is the levelized cost of electricity of the solar plant that you are building. If you look at the levelized cost of electricity, bifacial double glass panels are about 30 to 35% cheaper than standard panel. Because even though you pay 10% more, you produce at least 5% more on rooftops, and you produce at least 8 to 11% more on land with bifacial panels. So even after 5 years, the returns of the solar plants made with bifacial panels is much higher than the returns of a plant made with standard panels. At GTC in 2020, we have done extensive engineering, not only for the solar panels, solar cells, but also for the solar plants, because we have seen that, that different installations we're providing different outputs. So we try to optimize the solar plants. We call them smart plants. The smart plants with bifacial panels engineered the correct way can produce at least 5% more electricity per square meter on the rooftop, at least 11% more electricity on land. Those smart plants are at least 5 years longer. I mean, they have a lifetime that's 5 years longer than regular solar plants. And plus, double glass panels have full fire protection. It means that if there is a short circuit in your solar plant, the double glass panels do not burn. They only melt after 1200 degrees C, but they will not catch flame and they will not transmit that flame. So they are very safe. So if you consider all the risks and the cost of electricity, the amount of electricity you'll be producing, yes, definitely bifacial panels are actually cheaper than standard solar panels. But, you know, sometimes the conversation falls on deaf ears. So a lot of people still continue just looking at the initial investment. To answer the second question, when the plant life is over, a double glass solar panel is just a glass waste. You can treat it the same as the glass that you are disposing of. For instance, GTC does not make framed solar glass panels. We only frame them if the customer wants us to frame them, because based on the technology that we use, our solar panels are mechanically very resilient. They do endure 5400 Pascal, which is what the standard framed panel also endures. So we do not use metal frames. Hence, you don't have the waste of the metal, and you do not have the waste of the PVC. You just have glass to dispose of.
And there are two more questions from Mehtap Hanım. What's the economical nominal lifetime for a solar cell? And the second one is, what's the maximum energy you obtain from square meter of a solar panel?
Okay, the first question is a very good question. Theoretically, a solar cell may go for 100 years. As far as I know, the first solar cell that was made in the Bell laboratories still works. So the question really is not how long the cell can continue working. The issue is how well you can protect that cell. Because if the cell gets corroded, corrosion is the biggest enemy out there. If the cell gets corroded, it will not work. So if you can ideally protect the cell very well, then there's no problem with the lifetime. And the better you protect the cell, the less deviation every year you will get out of the cell, because the cell loses power. But the reason why the cell loses power is because the climate around it affects the cell, so it starts getting impurities inside. This is why actually GTC started out as a glass solar panel manufacturer. Our motto at the very beginning, when we analyzed all the solar plant technologies, we said, well, we need to protect these cells. And the best way you can protect these cells is by having two glass, embedding them in between the glass. So it is like your double glass on the window. The climate does not come into the house. The same way, if you have glass on both sides of the cell, and if you can do a good edge seal, then you keep the climate out and the cell may continue for a long time. This is why we are saying solar plants made with double glass bifacial panels will live at least 5 years longer. As GTC, we put our solar panels into aging tests, and we got phenomenal results. When other panels could hardly go through 2,000 hours of very harsh climate conditions, we found out that our panels could go 6,000 hours without much of loss of power. That's why we sell our solar panels with 84% performance guarantee at the end of 30 years. I think this is the highest guarantee offered in the world. Now for the second question. Per square meter, again, this is a very good question, because usually solar, like any other sector, gets marketed by way of fashion. You will not believe this, because fashion you think is only for textiles, for garments, or for cosmetics. But solar too is a very fashionable market. People, to market their products, develop fashion. So, but the real question for solar and also for all of energy is how much electricity you produce, how much energy you produce. So to differentiate in between the panels, the idea is, the actual good comparison is to get the power of the panel and divide it by the area that that panel occupies. Today, we see these huge panels, 600 watts, 560 watts, 460 watts. And everybody goes, wow, great, big cells, many bus bars. But the question is, please get the 600-watt panel, divide it by its area. And then, if it's a bifacial panel, add the bifacial gain on it. If it's a single side panel, there is no bifacial gain. Well, you will see that I think there is one panel out there which is a bifacial panel. It gives about 218 watts per square meter. If you put a 7% bifacial gain on it. Our panel at GTC right now, without our solar cell, our own solar cell, is at 215 watt per square meter. With our new solar cell, it will be at 218 watt per square meter as well. So at the very top of its class. All the standard panels that are single-sided, the highest that there is in the world is 206, and it's one company only. The others are maximum 204 watts per square meter. So bifacial offers a lot more because 218 is with 7% bifacial. But actually on land, you get 11% gain. And if you go on trackers, the gain can go up to 13% on tracker vis-a-vis a standard panel.
We continue with the questions from the audience. I think a lot of people are very interested in, very curious, because you know, the questions are they keep on coming. So from MÜKAD Aktaş, we have a question. Is there any applications bifacial panels used as BIPV, means building integrated PV in Turkey?
Yes, again, this is an area that GTC specializes in. I have to explain this because we set up GTC in 2013, but till 2017, we did not sell a single module. For 3 years constantly, we worked on how to produce a solar panel, a double glass solar panel. First, how to design it, and then how to produce it optimally. And the basic difficulty there, why it was not done before, was when you do a double glass panel, you have to laminate the glasses. There are 2 pieces of glass, front and back, and you need to laminate them. Now, lamination is a standard practice in glass technology. But if you have a solar cell that is 180 micron thick, you know, very, very thin, very fine, and if you are putting 2 glasses and this cell in between, that's very tricky. Laminating those 2 pieces of glass with the very fine solar cell without breaking the solar cell, without creating micro cracks in that solar cell is very tricky. It's a very, very difficult process. It took us at GTC really 2.5 years to do an optimum. I mean, I have to say, we really optimized lamination. Even the laminator people who sold us the machines were coming by the end to our factory to see how we were laminating the glass without creating any micro cracks. And to this day, GTC panels are micro crack free. Now, as I said before, we are the first ones to be able to do it under 3mm glass. But at GTC, we have handled glass from 1.6 millimeters to 12 millimeters. So we can actually produce solar panels made with two 1.6 millimeter glass, or as thick as 12 millimeter glass. The upside of this, so we can do customized panels in a whole range. The upside of this is for commercial solar plants, rooftops, land, we give either 2 millimeter solar panels or 2.5 millimeter solar panels, or sometimes 3, depending on the wind requirements. But when you go to the facade of a building, you may need to go up to 8 millimeter glasses or 12 millimeter glasses. And GTC is highly specialized in this. We just finished the facade of a hotel in Izmir this year. The hotel has not opened up due to COVID, but we finished the whole back facade. It's all GTC BIPV. Also, the solar cell factory in Niğde that we built, if you come to visit, you will see that the whole facade is PV. So BIPV will become very important, we think, as you will see solar everywhere. So the buildings will be covered by solar panels. And at GTC, we are ready for that.
Great. Also, BIPV is one of the major research agenda topics of the European Union. Question from MA. I don't know, I cannot see the name. You said 5% more energy on rooftop and 11% more on land. What about floating PV? Your bifacial modules also produce more energy on the sea. Does your module have saltwater resistance?
Very good question. As I said, actually last week, we introduced a test site in floating PV, a concept that was that is a first in the world, because we did it with bifacial modules, and our angle of incline is different. And in this test site, we have seen that we are able to produce about 7% more than standard panels. per square meter of sea. As regards saltwater resistance, GtC double glass bifacial panels are, I think, one of the very rare panels in the world that have passed a class 6 salt resistance. Usually panels go up to class 4. So class 6 is the highest testing ground that they have for salt. And we do have a class 6 certificate.
We have some more questions. Actually, we have exceeded our time, but if everybody agrees, I want to continue with the questions because I think it's a very good discussion and we haven't lost anybody from the audience. You know, everybody's listening very carefully and asking questions. So I'd like to continue with Mehtap Hanım's question. Do solar panels have chemicals inside them?
Yes. Solar cell is a chemical and physical, it's a set of chemical and physical processes. You get a silicon wafer, and it's very pure silicon, and we call it, and the wafer is 5N purity, which is like 99.999% silicon. And then we wash it with chemicals because we wanted to absorb light, because light is what makes the electrons make their jump. So we need to clean this silicon and also do geometrical shapes inside so that it can absorb the light. And we do this by using chemicals. And then there is a diffusion process for P-type silicon. We embed in phosphorus, and we cook the wafers in an oven. So while doing that, we again use chemicals. And this is so that we make the cell. Through diffusion, we create a diode, a negative and a positive. And then we put layers on the front and back of this piece of silicon so that we will not lose the electrons, but rather we can gather them into strings and then transmit the electricity. And we call that passivation. And adding those layers, we use special gases and chemicals. So it is a chemical and a physical process. So yes, solar panels do have chemicals in the cells, and there is also a lamination material. You cannot just, well, there are ways of doing it. You can put the cell in a vacuum in between two glass, but the technique that we use, lamination, needs a laminating material, which could be a TCO, an EVA. There is a layer of chemical materials inside the two glass.
Okay, thank you. Now we have like 3-4 questions, but we also need to wrap up. So I will read all the questions, and I want to, summarize all the questions. And I would like to have one cumulated reply from you. So let's start with okay, Yasin Çelebi wrote, Dear Besen, what do you advise for a new graduated woman engineer in your work area? Especially what should she focus or develop? Thanks a lot. Serap Sinem Demirel, we are aware of your success in your research and development department. On the other hand, we would like to ask that, did you ever need or do you need a collaboration with other companies on technologies research? We have another comment and question from Ayşegül Çetin. Dear Cigdem, many thanks for a very inspiring story and experiences shared with us. I wonder, what does dear Besen think about electricity energy storage from solar? And Oğuzhan Yıldızı, dear Ms. Besen, thank you for the great presentation. Looking at the big pictures, how do you think the solar energy industry in Turkey is going to evolve in the medium to long-term period? And as an experienced professional in the sector, can you share your suggestions, thinking in a view of regulatory and industrial policies? Let's see if there are other questions. There is one comment from Mehtap Öğüt. Looks like carbon footprint is quite high. Many thanks. So as we wrap up the questions, actually, I think the question of Mr. Oğuzhan Yıldızı, it's a kind of reply with my last question. So let's focus on the technology partnerships and energy storage. What do you think on them? And also, as a final remark, what are your suggestions to the new graduated woman? And then let's say we have 5 to 7 minutes, and we will pass to the closing remarks. Thank you.
I think I should start with the partnerships. We would be very happy if other companies go into solar cell making as technology companies, because where competition is, there comes out success. You cannot just try to develop something on your own. But if you have competitors, then that's a good wrestle, and it's a way to improve yourself. So far, though, in our area, while there are production factories, none of them are really research-oriented. So partnerships in research have not been possible. Neither has there been a real competition in terms of research, because they don't do it. But we have had many partners as universities, research institutions. When we first started, we worked with Fraunhofer in Germany. We have a Russian institute as a research partner. We have 2 Taiwanese companies as research partners. UNAM in Turkey, Middle East Technical University, has a solar research center, and we have done projects with them, and very happy to continue that collaboration. We have also partnered with 2 American universities in research. So wherever we can find partners, we are happy to use the opportunity, really. And now on the floating PV, we are partnering with a Turkish floating deck manufacturer. And in our solar plants, we are happy to partner with EPC providers who are also into research and new applications. I think that was my answer to the first question. Now, the second question was in regards of careers in solar, right, Selen?
There was one question regarding your opinion on energy storage, and one question about your advice to graduated women.
Okay. Well, my view of energy storage is a bit different from the way people are excited about energy storage. My own view about lithium ion or nickel-based nickel-cadmium batteries used in off-grid applications, I think they are expensive, and they will continue to be expensive, even though the price comes down, but the price comes down in relative terms. In my view, the grid is the safest and least expensive energy storage. Now, if the grid cannot handle it, well, the solution is to make solar local. You have to go for local solar. Solar gives you the advantage, gives the advantage to the grid to be distributed. If the grid cannot meet it, that's what I think there was a question about industrial policy. I say let's not go into it because that could be another 3-hour-long discussion on my part. But if the grid cannot bear the electricity, the solution is not to deny permission to solar, but to tell people, okay, if you want to use this, the output of this solar plant, build your own grid, build your own ENH in between your source and your consumption, and do it according to this law. So you can create grid in a cheap way. I think energy storage will be very crucial, and to go forward for solar and wind to become the primary electricity production, we need energy storage, but it's not going to come in forms of lithium ion or nickel cadmium or salt batteries. I think the solution there lies in hydrogen storage. If we can change all the natural gas pipelines to hydrogen storage, then wind and solar will become the primary product. And I think it will be done, but it will take probably a decade. But I think then that's the cheapest storage, because it will not be restricted to a rare metal. I mean, you see how all the metal mining is in the world today. It's a tragedy. Mining workers, it's a tragedy. Tech is making billions of dollars. The other people are suffering somewhere, all in the quest of this nickel metal or cadmium metal. Really, to make it viable, to make it sustainable, we need to go with the more common elements. Mehtap Hanım just said it's the high carbon footprint for solar. No, even though there is chemicals in solar, actually as GTC, we will, with our new solar cell factory, we will apply for one of the lowest carbon footprints in the world for solar cell making. Answer to the last question. For women engineers, it's a great pleasure to see so many women engineers go for electrical engineering, go for physics. Yeah, I mean, basic science is also what we need. GTC loves to get good physicists, good mathematicians, good chemists. We cannot find them because of the Turkish education system, because all the good students go for engineering and nobody is left at the basic sciences. When I went to school, everyone was telling me, you have to go for engineering. I went for nuclear engineering. I wasted my 4 years. Really, I mean, because I should have done physics. I did just the opposite. At my master's, I went back to plasma physics, which was a part of nuclear engineering, but it was physics. Really, the first 4 years, if it's in the basic sciences and then you do your master's in engineering, that's a big plus. But if you are already engineers, and all of us happen to be, that's not a loss. Any type of engineering is good, but electrical engineering for solar is a bit more important than the others. Mechanical engineering is also good for applications. Industrial engineering is good. And I would really urge all women engineers to pursue professions. Really get out there and fight and make it happen.
Thank you very much, Cigdem. Actually, there are a lot of thanks and congratulations and great comments from the audience. We don't have time to read all of them, so I will pass the floor to Cigdem for the closing remarks. But meanwhile, maybe you may read through the chat those comments. Now, Cigdem, floor is yours for closing remarks.
Sure. First of all, thank you, Selen and Cigdem, for this comprehensive presentation and Cigdem's detailed clarification and multidimensional, let's say, overview of the market And also, I hope everybody will be inspired by your story and your resilience to do such a business and be a pioneer in the market in Turkey. I first of all would like to express that as WiRE, we will be always supporting you whenever you need. And also wish you good luck for your following ventures. And I would like to thank everybody for such an engaged and active participation. And we hope to see you all in the following events. And please, if you have further questions, try to reach out to us. We will try to respond as much as possible. Thank you.
I would like to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.